What is going on, everyone? Back at you with another video. In today's episode, we're picking up where we left off with the 240 last time, which was pulling the codes on the ECU and discovering that this car most likely needs a knock sensor. Well, we've got the knock sensor that came in today, and I'm going to be unfortunately digging under the pit of despair black hole abyss that is under the intake manifold, which is where the knock sensor is located. Wish me luck. Let's get into it. Okay, another thing worth mentioning, this is the wiring for the knock sensor right here. My plug was actually shattered and would not go into the place where the knock sensor plugs in. Even on my spare engine harness, it was also broken on that one. So I ended up splicing the wires directly in, bypassing the plug. There is a chance that is our problem, but we're really not gonna know until we have this whole thing out. I'm just gonna replace it anyways because it's cheap. We're also going to be taking a very close look at the wiring here. The knock sensor is located right down there. That is actually it right there. If I can get it to focus. So that red plug right there is the knock sensor. The bolt is up on the right there. The bolt is right there, and it actually angles a little bit. So I'm thinking I'm gonna have to point a socket extension in this way to get to it. I'm probably going to be battling, trying not to lose that bolt down into the black hole there. So we're gonna get to work on that. Hopefully it comes out and goes back in pretty easily. All right, so we got the knock sensor out just barely. It does look pretty rough, and it honestly has like a pretty big crack over here, a little bit of corrosion on the bottom here. So I'm really hoping that replacing this knock sensor will fix our issue. Symptoms of a bad knock sensor is can be misfiring, sputtering, and especially under acceleration or high load, which is exactly the symptoms this car is having right now. So we're gonna get this undone. I'm gonna take a look at the wiring, make sure it's all good to go, and then we're gonna get the new knock sensor in and get this bad boy back in there. All right, I'm gonna show you my setup for how I was able to get this out. Anyone trying to do it at home, I ended up going way in the side of the intake manifold here, and I unbolted the fuel line bracket so I could squeeze this underneath here. And I learned very early on, after dropping an extension twice, you're going to want to tape these things together because you're kind of trying to aim it, and then you're gonna have to readjust and kind of pull on it, and it just makes the sockets disconnect. I also did not want to lose my socket. And also on the end of this is a swivel extension, which makes it a lot easier. It is a size 12 millimeter. I was able to get it back out that way. Getting it in though is going to be a whole different story, so wish me luck when we get to that, but let's take a look at this wiring. Okay, things have gone decently smoothly up until this point. We've got the harness kind of redone. We plugged it directly into the plug there, kind of hard to see, but this factory harness bypassed any wiring that could have been faulty, even though I just tested the wiring and it was all good. So wiring is probably not the issue. Hopefully it was the sensor. But now we're just gonna try and get it in there, and super probably difficult. Right beneath that bolt, you can see there is the bolt hole that goes into the block, and it's on the side, and basically I'm gonna have to like reach my arm around there while holding the bolt in the sensor and somehow feed it in there and try and start it hand tight and get it going. That's basically going to be my only chance to get that to go in there, because otherwise I'm going to drop it and it's going to be too hard to feed and do this while also feeding that. So I think I'm going to have to do this all with one hand. We'll see if it goes smoothly. Hopefully we can get it in there and get this thing done. That was not easy, guys. My arm literally got stuck under the intake manifold. I didn't know I was gonna get my arm out. Probably gonna have a significant bruise right there. I had to like push on my skin to get it to go around one of the casting bolts of the intake manifold. But we were able to get the knock sensor back in. I was able to hand tighten it after reaching my arm around, and then we brought in the extension afterwards, was able to tighten it up. It is all plugged in. I'm gonna get the fuel line put back together, button everything up, clean up the engine bay, and we're gonna fire it up and take it for a rip, and hopefully that stupid hesitation goes away. I would be super pumped about that. All right, let's go.